Welcome to Life with Marlene. It's hump day, everybody, and it's time for the Wednesday chit chat. Wednesday chit chat, everybody. Welcome to it. Hey, everyone, it's Marlene of Life with Marlene. Welcome today to today's chit chat. We're going to be talking about another awesome topic on this chit chat. Wednesday, Chit Chat Wednesday. How's everybody doing? If it's your first time here for Life with Marlene, hit the subscribe button. I love for you to be a part of my gems family. I love my gems. So here's the topic today. Hey Roxanne, how are you? Welcome. Today's topic. We're not going to be on here long, y'all, because I have to go over to Marlene Motivates at 3 o'clock. So we're going to hit this topic and then we're going to go over to Marlene Motivates. Hey, Janice, how are you? Hit the like, everybody. Okay, so we're talking about sense is not common anymore. Well, not everyone can have a good weight, a good height. But one thing that we all can do is work on our temperament, our personality, cognitive abilities, and our social status. So there's things that we can do, there's things that is within our reach, and there is certain things that we cannot control. We can't control how other people act. We can't control how other people talk to us, their their actions, but what we can do is focus on our reaction to them. And our reaction to people can go all the way left if we allow it. We have to keep our composure, we have to keep our control. And here is the thing that I hear all the time: she or he has no common sense. What does that even mean? You know, that term, it's been said over and over again. And it's primarily coming from frustration and anger from people. And it's often in a response to something apparently nonsensical to you, to them. Just because someone does something and someone says that they have no common sense, it could be that you just don't understand them. But what is common sense? What would you say? Those who are in the replay and those who are in the chat, what would you say is common sense? What is it? What isn't it? And do we all have it? If we do, how much of it? You know, people think that common sense is some sort of guiding light that most people are just born with. Um, and it aids in your decision making. But some don't have a concern, a care. They just go through life and they're just taking things as it comes. They're doing whatever it is that they want to do, and they don't think before they act. And I understand why people will say sense is not common anymore. You know, common sense is really based on an average or a typical response. And this indicates that someone did not respond or act in the average way, a standard way, normative, as expected or is typical. Like, say, for example, we expect people to act a certain way when they're children, when they're a teenager, and also when they're an adult. But it's just some just never got trained. Some people never got put in their place. They never learned how to treat other people. They don't understand and know how to communicate. Janice says, I think it's my way of processing things in life. Okay. How you process things. Yeah, that's a good definition, Janice. And hey, Realist One, welcome. What do you mean you messed up, Roxanne? I'm sure you didn't. See, one of the things about common sense is something that's typical. And I like to say, not everybody's a typical person. Just like I believe 100%, I'm not a typical woman. I'm not society's norm. I don't do and say things like other people. I have a very high standard for myself. It's something that I've built inside of myself because I want future generations of my family to see you can be down and out. You can go through things, but you can raise your caliber. You can raise the bar for yourself. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. And I think that that is the norm for most in this society. They feel that because one person is doing something, and if you step outside of those boundaries, that doesn't make any sense. No, it doesn't make any sense to you. And that's what people will say, that they don't have any common sense. No, that the problem and the point of all of this is that a lot of people, when they say that someone doesn't have common sense, there's many problems with comparing. There's comparisons happening. They're comparing themselves where they are in their personal life to where you are. And I always say, don't try to put me in a bracket with other people. I don't know what goes on in the lives of other people, but don't put me in the bracket of people when they say a normal woman or what you should be because of my skin color or because of my age. That's a category that people have made for themselves. You know, people want to put you in a bracket and a barrier, okay? Because here comes the heat with this. You know, to someone, because of they have not used their talents, they haven't used their gifts. And the problem a lot of times is control. They're upset because they are not in control of themselves because they can't control you. They can't do what you do. They can't they don't have your skills, they don't have your talents, you lose them. you know you are not a sheep or a puppet like they are, and that's what throws them off. It throws off people. You throw them for a loop because they're trying to understand how it is that you do what you do, and they say that you don't have any common sense. No, you don't have any common sense. Don't put me in a bracket with other people because they choose to not use their brain, or they use their brain in a certain way. It doesn't mean that I do. You know, you have to just allow people to be themselves. That's one thing about life. You can't change people. You can't make people do right. You can't make other people have compassion or understanding. People move to the beat of their own drum. They're going to do what they like. People don't care about your feelings. It's some people who are so cutthroat and ruthless out there, but they don't know. When you start something, be prepared for the smoke. That's all I can say. I'm not a person that I don't start anything, but don't let my voice fool you. Your girl can come with the smoke and the heat. Packing. Packing. That's all I'm going to say. Play, and you're going to get played. Okay? And to some, it's about control. They can't control you like a puppet. And one thing about me, I'm not a sheep. Is a sheep. They do the same thing everybody else is doing. I have books and books of topics. I can come out of my head. No notes, nothing. People don't like that. People don't like a person who is elevated, enlightened, someone who knows their worth, and they have a strong vernacular. That's the problem. That's why people are mad, because they don't have control over you. They don't have control over your mind. They can't do what you do. And everybody can have a wonderful and a successful life, but they're miserable in their life, so they're trying to make you feel miserable too. I said the wrong thing to someone I didn't think before I talked. It's all good, Roxanne. It's all good. I was raised that God blessed everyone with at least common sense. It's your own understandings of things. You know, you know, I can't say I agree with that 100%, Janice, because people are not always raised in an environment that's conducive to growth. There's a lot of people who are raised in a toxic environment. I can say 100% I was one of them, raised in a toxic environment around toxic people. So you have to learn how to find your own self-worth. You got to have your own sense of being, and not be a follower. It's a whole different thing to be a leader. You kind of have to be a wolf, a bear, whatever aggressive animal you choose. Because if you don't make your own steps forward in your life, other people are going to try to control it, because they see a person who's weak minded, a person who doesn't know how to speak up for themselves. That's what people want. People don't like an aggressive person. They don't like it. And it's a different thing. Like I was speaking up the other day, and I stand corrected, speaking about that you're aggressive. And it's not that you're aggressive, it's you're assertive. And that's the thing that gets people thrown off. People don't like when you're assertive, when you know what you want, you know how to speak, you know how to go for it, you know how to grind, you know how to hustle, you know how to put people in their place. See, I know how to put people in their place without disrespecting myself and my values. I know what I stand on. I know who I stand on. I know who I stand for. I know what I'm trying to do in this life. I know I have a purpose, and my purpose is my passion. And people who are just sad, there's some sad, miserable, and pathetic people out there. Very pathetic. And all it is they can't control. They haven't done anything with their life. Hey, Miss V, how are you? Welcome. All it is people who have pathetic lives. They don't know what they're doing. They haven't done anything with their life. And then they look at you, a person who's going after theirs. They're accomplishing things, they're letting things happen, you know? And I'm proud. I'm proud of the person that I am. I'm proud of the woman that I have become. And it's not something that happens overnight. You don't just wake up one day and become great. It's something that you have to constantly work on. It's you have to give yourself a kick in the tush and like get up, stop crying about that, get over it. You have to learn how to regulate your mind, regulate your thoughts. The people who are around you are not always the best people for you. Okay? The people who are around you are not always the best people for you. It's a lot of snakes. It's a lot of snakes. It's a lot of people with knives behind your back, the ones that smile in your face, and then they come in for the kill. They will demolish you and devour you if you let them. Don't let them. Yes, it seems to me that those type of people have low self-esteem and not really lacking common sense. Yeah, they don't. They don't. And that's the thing about when it comes to common sense, I think it's based on where you are, because a person who has never been through some of the struggles that you've been through, they can't understand or empathize why you want to do things a certain way. you know? They don't understand. And the whole thing about it is that it's not left up for you to determine how somebody else makes their moves, their story, how they feel. You have to let people have their own way of feeling and being, and not try to control and say that's illogical or stupid. You know, give people the right to have their own opinions. And if you dig it, you dig it. If you don't, it's cool. Then go your way. But we don't have to degrade one another. That's part of being an adult and being mature and having respect for ourselves. When you respect yourself, you love yourself. I don't have to put somebody else down in order to elevate myself. Hey, lovely Samara, how are you? Welcome. Nate, baby, how are you? Happy Wednesday. That's one thing that I learned when I became more mature, more realistic. See, I had to learn to be realistic and not pessimistic. You know, you have to grow up. Just because you've been doing something for a certain way all your life, it doesn't mean that it's good. And when I say that, I'm pointing the finger back at myself. Uh, The message is for who wants to take it. Just because you were raised a certain way, just because you have been through something, just because people have hurt you, just because you may not have had certain things in your life, it doesn't mean you can't make your own new set of values. You can't make your own set of being and doing. But the majority of people out there, they make excuses for their life. They like being comfortable, they like being miserable, they like to talk about other people, and that's them. But, like I always say, you keep all of that over where you are. I don't allow miserable people to determine or define the amount of peace that I have in my life. You're not going to take away from what the amount of money in my bank account. You're not going to stop my joy. You're not going to stop my light. You're not going to stop me going after my dreams. Actually, it's a motivating force. It gets me more motivated to go after my dreams and to do things. See, people think because they have no goals, they have no life, they have no sense of being, they have no direction, you know, they have no friends, they have no life. Some people just sit around on a computer trolling people, making fun of them, finding a way to pick apart another individual until they find a flaw, and then they run and go with it. Instead of that person congratulating the next person. What does it take to be kind to another person? What does it take to see the good in another person? See, what I learned is that people can't see the good in another person until they see the good in themselves. Boom. You can't see the good in another person. You can't see the light in another person until you allow your own light to be elevated, until you raise your own vibration. You can't raise the vibration of others. Once you raise your own vibration, it's easy for you to see the good energy and vibrations in others. It took me a while to know my triggers and face them head on. That's right. Yeah, that's the type of dark spirit I don't want to be anywhere near me with folks like that. Exactly, Janice. Liz, hi sis. How are you? Yes. Yes, thank you, Liz. Hey, Urban. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to everybody in the chat. Listen, y'all. It wasn't until I finally made a decision to look inside of myself, to own my own mess, to look at my backstory and say, you've been through a hard path. You were dealt a bad set of cards, but that doesn't define who you are in your present. Just because you had a rough past, you don't have to be miserable in your present. I definitely had to learn that. Just because you had a miserable past does not mean your present has to be miserable. And you don't have to take that misery out on other people. See, I own my own mess. I'm accountable for what I did, for the role that I played in what I did. And today I stand up in my present as a woman grown and realize that I can't let other people take power over me. I can't let other people control. I can't let what other people think about me define what I'm going to do, who I am, the woman that I am, my inner strength and my courage. See, every day you wake up, you have to define you. Like, who am I today? Who am I going to choose to be? What kind of energy and light am I going to project onto this world? What kind of stamp am I leaving behind? Am I encouraging the youth and other people who choose to listen to me, who choose to associate with me? Am I an encourager? Am I a motivator? Do I share my times when it's hard and tough for me and say, hey, it's tough for me, but I'm choosing to elevate my mind and my power? I choose to not discourage other people. I choose to see the good in other people. See, I choose to elevate others because when I elevate others, I elevate myself. That part. You can't you can't step on other people, okay? You can't step on other people and think that you're not going to get some mud or some other bodily fluids in the process. It's something that will happen to you when you do wrong to others. Trust me, it's only a matter of time where that wrong comes right back to slap you in your face or stab you in your back. So be careful what you do to other people. It's a public service announcement. Be careful what you do to other people because I'm telling you, it is just as sure as God is real. When you do something to others, when that thing comes back to you, whether you call it karma, God, uh, the energy, the force, whatever you want to call it, when it comes back to you, what you do to other people, when that thing comes back to you, it's going to be harder, heavier, more vicious. So be careful how you're striking your blows, the type of energy that you show up in this world. When you have that wicked, that mean, that evil energy to try to dig into other people, especially those who try to come at people who are not strong, mentally, those who have physical ailments, those who are struggling financially, and they take advantage of them. Be careful because when that thing comes back to you, I'm telling you, that thing is going to take you for all that you have. And that's real. And I put that on everything. When that thing comes back to you, when it's going to knock you down. It's going to knock you down on your back if you can even come back, because sometimes when that circle comes back on you, when you have to face judgment for what you've done to other people, hmm, hmm, you would start asking yourself, why is my life so tough? Why don't I have friends? Why this and why that? Hmm. Think about what you've done. Think about the way that you treat other people, and then make some changes. Stop doing wrong. Stop acting stupid. Grow up. That's what I have to say. Grow up. Yeah. See, because they don't know who they are, Janice. That's the whole thing. People don't know who they are. That's a whole nother podcast. People don't know who they are. They've never had anybody to believe them, so they don't even know how to start. They are broken. So what they try to do is break other people. But you don't know who you're dealing with. Yeah, they think they're invincible. But one day, somebody's going to come and chop them down all the way. Hey, Melissa. Yeah, and I learned this the other day. I have to give credit where credit is due. I learned from Shay Love that these people have a soul sickness. Their soul is sick. They're constant. They're all their problems is because they've allowed evil to take over them. Hmm. That's facts. Yes, some people never learned a lesson. And you know what? It doesn't matter how much you tell somebody something until somebody wants to make changes in their life. Until you want to, you won't. But the whole thing about life is you either humble yourself or you will be humbled. It's just a matter of time. Hey, Mama's Handprint, how are you? Welcome. You know, it's just a matter of time. Thank you, Melissa. It's just a matter of time, everybody. You know, we're talking about how sense is not common anymore. Like, look at today's society where, back in the day, it used to be a norm. Uh, for respect was a norm. You saw an older person. If you were in public transportation, you got up. An older person, a disabled person, anybody who was in need, you would just stand up, give them your seat. Now you come onto public transportation, you have kids, whatever, and you got a man sitting there. Well, he's not a man. That's a boy. That's a little punk. But he's just sitting there, and he wouldn't stand up and let an elderly person, a disabled person, have the seat. You know, Men who are supposed to be men and stand up, protect families and other people, they just let them crash out. They just let them crash out because they don't care. They don't care about nobody but themselves. Inherently, some people are just selfish. It's all about them. And it's so sad that, you know, I wish the old ways would come back where people would respect one another. Life has never been perfect. Don't get me wrong, but there was a time where people had decency, you know, respecting other people. you know you have something that you want to say, you say it to that person. But no, they people come on social media, spread all everything. They put everything on the table, just because they're behind a phone or a tablet or something. People on social media, they just blast other people. Hmm. But I'm telling you, what goes around comes around, and that's a real thing. What goes around comes around. I'm doing great, Mama's Handprint. Yes, thank you so much. Exactly. My mom and I were walking into the dentist's office on Monday, and the waiting area was full. 4 men in the room, and not one gave up their seat. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I can't tell everybody what to do. I just know things that you should never have to say to a man. If you are a real man in a room and you see a lady, you sitting down, the room is full, you look around, you see a woman, and you, miss, would you like a seat? See, I'm used to that. I was raised by strong, protective men. So I know what time it is. I know how things are supposed to be. And you can't make people do right, you know. But some people weren't raised to be a gentleman, just like some women weren't raised to be a lady. And I just have to say it. And because I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say anyways. Ladies, respect yourself. Cover up your chest. Cover up your cheeks of your butt. If you want respect out here, look like you deserve it. Public service announcement. If you want the respect, act like it. Period. If you want respect, act like you deserve it. Don't put things out there and then get upset when you actually get what you've been asking for. You know, what people see on the outside, that's how people class you. You know, people make judgments all the time about other people. Real talk. You know, that's being a human. I see people all the time and I look at them and you pass a judgment. That's just how we are. That's just how we are as human beings. We judge other people. I try not to be. I try to be kind to other people, but it's just human nature to look at somebody else and we look at them, but you don't really know. Do we really know what that person is going through? No, you don't. That person could be beat down all the way, and they just feel that all their hope is lost. But what would it take if you would just treat that person like a human being? Treat people with love that you would want to receive. But people don't know how to do that. It's all about them. It's all about them. Do you think it has to do with the generational gap? You know, that's a good question, Janice. I really don't know the answer to that, you know. I can just say the way I was raised, I think human decency it should is the foundation of everything. And even if you weren't raised to do certain things or to know certain things, you should at the core of you respect other human beings. Be kind, you know. But it everything in life, you show who you are when you're pressed. You show what you're about when someone tests you. I always say, what spills out, you know? What spills out of your mouth? What do you talk about? How do you treat other people? Now, I'm definitely the type of individual, I'm the type of woman that when pressed, I feel like my beauty pours out. Hmm. My beauty pours out. And a lot of people, their inside is filthy, it's dark, it's evil. So when pressed, guess what's going to come out? Evil, and more wickedness, lies and drama. You know, I always recommend to everybody to work on your inside, work on who you are. Yep, work on who you are, what you're about, what you feel that you deserve. And I definitely am the person that will admit 100%. I haven't always been good. I haven't always been a person who did the right thing. I was more selfish than I should have been. You know, I'm accountable for all of that. I own everything that I am. I own it all. I take accountability for everything. But I'm not that anymore. I know when to say I'm sorry. I know how to say I was wrong. But I also know how to protect my peace and my light. I know when to respond to things and know when not to. And I do believe that that's a part of, you know, common sense also is put with how you are defining your worth, how you feel about yourself. You know, when something comes at you, or do you get defensive, or do you believe the lie? Hmm. See, when someone says something about you and it's not true, you can chill. I chill. I can chill all day because I know who I am at the fiber of me. But can the same be said of other people? I don't know. I believe everybody is a work in progress. Hmm. Everybody's a work in progress. Just some people have not put in the work to love themselves. And that's what it is. When we talk about sense is not common anymore, you know, when we talk about that, we have to mention, how are you treating yourself? Ooh, a lot of times we let ourselves be a doormat to other people. We let other people talk to us crazy or act crazy, and we keep putting up with it, when you simply can choose to not respond. You can simply choose to delete their phone number. You can simply choose to not be around them. It's simple. It's simple to me. I told my daughter we're in the South, but I can't even blame it on race. They just don't have no home training. That right there, that part, Melissa. Mm. And some, unfortunately, were, you know, I'll just say it how I'm going to say it. There's babies raising babies, these days. Babies raising babies. So there's still a child, even though you can be an adult, you can be a child mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, until you wake up and say, why am I doing that? Or that's not good behavior. Or why am I coming at this person or that person? Everything is a reflection of who you are on the inside. Yeah, that part. It's about who you are on the inside. Yes, Janice. Yes. Hey, Andre, how are you? We have to lead by example. The example isn't there anymore. Times have changed. People have become more into themselves and not being respectful. We need to make an impact and lead the way. Definitely, most definitely, Andre. I have always said, the whole thing is, I look at younger people and I'm so proud of the younger people that I'm seeing, doing things, going for theirs, you know, working and doing, but it's the older people that I'm seeing is acting a fool. People in their late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, acting like fools, fighting, degrading other people. When is it going to stop? When are people going to grow up and act their age and not their shoe size? Hey, Bright family, how are you? Welcome. Yes, accountability goes a long way. Yeah, you don't have to be perfect, but you do need to own your mistakes. Exactly, Melissa. If you mess up, say you messed up. Don't blame it on other people. Don't make excuses, you know? Don't make excuses for your bad behavior. That's how you grow up. That's how you mature. Being accountable. Own your mess. Like, yeah, that's what I did. But don't be like, oh, and this and that. And if it wasn't for this and if it wasn't for that. No, don't do that. Chivalry is very important, but seems to be very scarce these days. A gentleman who is raised well will not hesitate to apply. When you are a lady, it comes naturally. Exactly. I and it doesn't go. I'm not saying one side better than the other. I'm not doing that. See, I respect everybody who's a gentleman, and I respect everybody that's a lady. And it's rare these days, but they're out there. That's why I don't class everybody together. I don't say men when it's the place of a boy, and I don't say female when it's the place of a little girl. There's a lot of people out here who are babies in an adult body. They haven't matured. They haven't learned to be accountable. They haven't dealt with how messy they are. But at a certain point, you're going to have to, because either you're going to humble yourself or somebody's going to humble you, or you'll be unalived. But either way, you'll be dealt with. Either way. Either way. Either way, you'll be dealt with. And that's reality. Hey, Tracy, how are you? Welcome. Either way, you know, whether you choose to do right, whether you choose to grow up or not, you know, it's your world, you know. But the whole thing about it is that people will have bad behavior as a whole grown individual and then get mad when someone confronts them, someone puts them on blast. Don't do the bad behavior if you don't want the consequences. You can't do whatever you want and think you're not going to get the smoke. You can't do whatever it is that you want and think everybody should give you a pass, or to say, I've always been this way, or people haven't checked me, or I don't know what I'm doing, or hide behind that mask of saying, I have mental illness. Just because you have a problem, you can't keep using that as a crutch to your drama. Even a person who has mental illness, and take your medicine, then do right and get some therapy, get some counseling, but do what you need to do so you can get right. But everybody doesn't have to give you a free pass. I'm absolutely getting tired of seeing grown people acting like 2 year olds. I even see some 2 year olds who act better than these whole grown people. You know, people, and it's not like they're just became an adult. I mean, these people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s out here acting like fools. Okay? You're in your you could be somebody's grandma, or you already are a grandma or a grandpa, and you're showing a terrible example to the youth. Like, how are younger people going to know how to act if they're looking at you and saying, this is 40, 50, 60? Come on. That's how you're going to act in your 40s, 50s, and 60s? Like when you going to put the bottle down? When you going to, you know, get off of drugs? When you going to actually get a job? Fix your credit. Stop laying around in the bed all day, you know. Get up and do something with your life. Get a plan, get some goals. Do something with your life instead of trying to make other people miserable. I just That's point blank what it is. Shots fired. People need to grow up. And they will just say that, you know, since it's not common anymore. No, it's that people aren't checking people. We just let people just do whatever they want to, and we don't check them. like like I was saying the other day in my life, that in my family we check the people who do wrong. Like, we need to start holding people accountable. Like, hey, you messing up, call them out, and don't give them a pat on the back. Just like crimes are being committed and people are like giving them a pass, and like it's okay, and then they want to hide behind, I have mental illness. No. I hate when people say, oh, that's just how they are. Yes, that's an excuse. Most definitely it's an excuse. It's just an excuse so that they can just run amok, act like more of a fool, and then like they do something. And I'm telling you that they know what they're doing. The narcissists, the mentally ill, even those who have some type of disabilities, you know, or hide behind, I'm autistic, I'm whatever it is, challenge that you have. You can't use a label as an excuse for bad behavior. Yeah, I see some bad influencing going on too, bad attraction, watching who I'm listening to and hanging around. Exactly, Janice. You know, because I learned a long time ago, when I see somebody do wrong to one person, I'm out, because it's just a matter of time before it's going to happen to me. If someone is gossiping about one person, it's just a matter of time before they're going to start gossiping about you. or find a way to stab you in the back, or find a way to try to get some of your money, try to steal from you, or whatever it is that they are doing, that's bad behavior. Everything is a matter of time, you know? Maya Angelou said it. When someone shows you who they are, believe them, and believe them the first time they do it. We see people doing things that's, like I said, nonsensical. It don't make no sense. It's crazy. It's weird. It's uncomfortable. But we allow it. We give people far too many passes than we should. Like I'm an advocate. Yeah, people are human. Yeah, people make excuses, but I'm talking about the evil things, the wicked things, the manipulative things, the things like no way should you take it or accept it. Yeah, that's the stuff I'm talking about. Yeah. Some folks want to get physical when you call them out. I'm not the one. Listen, Janice, I say it all the time. People always want to put their hands on other people, and I'm speaking to men and women, or I should say little boys and little girls. Be ready. When you put your hands on somebody, be ready for the consequences of the actions. That's all I'm going to say. Be ready. You don't know what you could get. You don't know the talents that other people have. A person could be quiet and mild and chill, but don't think you don't know what they could be packing. You don't know that they know how to throw hands. I'm just saying, there's consequences to your actions. People need to act accordingly, but they don't. But they don't. But it don't mean that you have to take it. Just because a person is acting crazy and they've been acting crazy and they've been doing the wrong thing, that doesn't mean you have to accept it. That doesn't mean you have to be around it. And like I say all the time, if you don't like what somebody else is doing, then don't go around them. Don't be around them. Don't talk to them, you know? But my whole issue has always been is the pretenders, like I call them, the great pretenders, the hypocrites, coming smiling in your face, acting like you're best friends and they like you and they like what you're about. But they're just there to see what you're doing because they're trying to find out how to do it and either try to duplicate it. They have no imagination. They have no skills, no art form. They're not about nothing. They're not trying to do anything with their life. And they want what you have. They want your life because they're miserable. Most of the time, they don't have any romantic relationship. They don't have any friends. They don't have a job. All they do is sit around on social media and talk about other people. Yeah. Yeah. That part, Janice. Yeah. So, it just gets exhausting and draining to hear what other people have to say. You know what I'm saying? Hey, universe. How are you? Welcome. Happy Wednesday to you and everybody in the chat. Yeah, I had to come on here and say this. Like, these people think, and I feel like when you get to a point in your life where you're mature, you're making wise decisions, you're doing great things, you love yourself, there's always going to be a little chihuahua. That's what I love to call them. The little chihuahuas who always try to come and all bark and no bite, right? They all bark and no bite. They always have a lot to say. They all have a lot to say, but they're not about nothing. They're not about nothing because when confronted, when they get put down, either with a physical altercation or with a firearm or whatever it is, when they actually get put down, they're crying. They're crying like a little baby, crying like a little baby. So be careful the things that you put out there, the things that you try to say about other individuals. I always say you don't know what somebody's going through. You don't know somebody's backstory. You don't know what a person can do. You think that you know, you make assumptions, but you don't know what another person is dealing with and coping with and going through on a day to day. Nobody know that, especially on social media. Here on social media, you can be anything that you want to be, hiding behind an avatar, being a troll, being miserable, being vindictive, starting trouble. But it's all good. One thing that nobody can't do is take away from your own values. Don't let other people take you down a path that you don't want to be on. Don't let anybody make you lose your self esteem, your direction in your life, you going after your goals, you doing the things that you love. When people personally come to attack you, try to go and diminish your moral character, diminish your who you are, and they really don't know you, you know, but they try, they make an attempt. The people who are really on your side, the people who know you, the people who rock with you, they know what you're about. And I would say, and I move accordingly. Anybody that leaves your life because they believe in a lie from other people, then let them go. For me, I feel I take that as a blessing. I'm glad you left because now my energy can radiate and vibrate higher. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what it's about. My grandmother lived until she was 100 years and never been disrespected. Growing up, we were told manners takes you through the world. Her mantra was everyone should be respected. Yes, exactly. But it's people out here, mama's handprint, that don't know who they are, and they get jealous and envious of another person's light, a person's personality, a person's talents, and they try to bring them down. They try to start stuff, they try to start beef, and especially on this app, people try to start beef with you, and you don't do anything to them. All you have ever done is be kind to another person. Just ignore them. They're just like little mosquitoes. Push them to the side. Like, get out of here. Get out of here. And nobody can stop what is on the inside of you. That's what people don't understand. When you know who you are, nobody can stop your inside, right? Nobody can stop your joy. Nobody can stop your peace. Nobody can stop your light. What is meant to be for you. See, it's all about choices that we make every day. And I personally believe you have to make a choice to thrive. And it's people out here who are not choosing to thrive. They're choosing to be miserable. They're choosing to make excuses. They're choosing to lie on people. So guess what? It's that same energy that they're going to have in their life. It's the reason why certain things won't happen for them. It's why certain things can't manifest. It's why your money can't ever get right. If you don't treat other people with respect with their money, your money will always be messed up. You always try to do something backhanded and vicious and malicious. Guess what? That's what is going to happen to you. So I'll leave y'all with that this point. Don't let other people who don't know who they are bring you down and drag you down. You know, it's a lot of people who don't have their mind together. Their mind is not right. And I do feel sorry for certain people that have no self-esteem, no self-worth. They're not about anything. So they're going to try their best. They're going to make many attempts to bring down bring you down. But don't let anybody dim your light. No? Yes. Yes, it is, Janice. It's such good peace when people leave. You're like, ah, feels so good. Have you ever felt when certain people leave the room, it's like your energy comes back? Or when they leave you, it's like you feel so drained. Yeah, they sucked all the power out of you. Hey, Marianne, how are you doing? Yes, silence is so golden. It's a choice, and a lot of people don't understand that it takes a lot of strength when you see something or you hear something to not respond. It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're a punk. It doesn't mean that you're letting someone have a one up on you. No, it means you know your worth, and you know that they don't deserve the time of day. They don't deserve the time of day for you to even respond, because you're so busy in yours, going after yours. Okay? Thank you all so much for joining me today. I'm going to be headed over to my Marlene Motivates channel. Got a good topic over there today, talking about self love. For those who can join me, I'll see you over there. And I appreciate everybody who supports me on this Life with Marlene channel. I do vlogs. I have the Wednesday chit chat. I also have a vlogger spotlight. Anybody who's a vlogger, hit me on Instagram. I would love for you to talk about what you do on your channel, why you started to vlog, and all of that. And I appreciate y'all. Don't let anybody take away your light and your power. It's all within us, but it's how you choose to cast your light. Be joyful, everybody. I'll see you guys next Wednesday on the next chit chat, and also on the next vlog. If you're new, hit the subscribe. And my replay gang, leave me a comment in the comment section below. If you've not subscribed, subscribe to this channel. Okay, everybody. Peace. What is my IG? My IG is, let me put it in the chat, is underscore best life crew. That's my IG. What's the oh, I just put the IG in there, and I'm heading over to my motivational channel. This, let me put it in here. This is where I'm going over to. I'm going to start in 2 minutes over there. Yes, Mary Ann, don't let anyone take your peace away. Appreciate everybody's support over here. You know, I'm trying to get my last 1 minute and something before I head over. But I appreciate everybody's support. Yes, my Angelo, I love her. I read a lot of great poetry from some of the greats. And if you all are looking for a great poet to read, is Zora Neale Hurston. She's another great poet. People talk about, you know, Maya Angelou and Toni Morrison. Yes, they're great, but it's a lot of other poets that don't get their shine like they should. So thank y'all for your support. As always, I thank you. And thank y'all for 1,200 subscribers. I must say that before I end. Thank you for 1,200. We're grinding towards partial monetization. I believe the last time I looked, I was at 2,090 in watch time hours. So I got about 900 or so, 900 and change before we can get that partial monetization. So thank everybody for their support here. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Y'all remember to always be a gem and treasure yourself. Bye, guys.